When you realize your biggest enemy isn't out there but within you, something powerful happens. It's not about what the world does to you, it's about what you constantly do to yourself. What holds you back isn't the situation you're in, it's what you let your mind tell you about it. The mind has an infinite power to command the body. Once you train your mind, you start to see there are no real limits, only the ones you create for yourself. The biggest battle you face every single day is against your own thoughts. So, the next time you feel the urge to give up, remember, it's not your body talking, it's your mind. And guess what? You've got the power to change that. You glance at the clock and think, it's too late. I can't do this anymore. So, you slow down. The pain creeps in, and you convince yourself you've hit your limit. But here's the raw truth. You're lying to yourself. You think exhaustion is your body telling you to stop, but really, it's your mind trying to sabotage you. It does this because it's scared. Scared of seeing you push past what it always believed was your limit. You felt it before, the moment when it feels like you've got nothing left. But what if I told you that's just your mind keeping you in your comfort zone? That safe little bubble where you don't grow, where you never reach your potential. The human body has an insane capacity to adapt and crush challenges. But the mind, it just wants to protect you. It doesn't want you to get hurt. And that's exactly where you fail. You let it take over. You let it convince you that you can't, when really, the opposite is true. You've been there when your mind screams, stop, and you give in. And what happens next? Regret. That sinking feeling you could have gone further, that you could have pushed a little harder. But instead, you listened to doubt and stopped. And let me ask you, what did that choice do? It made you weak. The truth is, your body is never really at its limit. It's always got more to give. And you'll prove it every time you refuse to stop when you feel like you can't go on. Don't be fooled. That I'm done feeling? It's not the end. It's the start of your transformation. When you challenge yourself to keep going, you'll see that I can't anymore is just a lie. You're not at the end. You're at the start of something bigger. You're not tired. You just need to stop believing the lies your mind tells you. So, what's it gonna be? Keep buying into the lies or break through the barrier and show yourself what you're really made of? Feel that fear? That knot in your stomach holding you back from moving forward? Yeah, it's no coincidence. That fear is running your life. It's living inside you, pulling strings, making you believe you're not good enough, that you can't chase your dreams, that failing is the end of the world. And you've been a loyal servant to it, letting it dictate your every move. But here's the kicker, fear isn't real. It's just a construct of your mind, a lie you've been buying into for years. Think about it. How many times have you wanted to do something incredible but stopped halfway? How often have you thought about giving up because the fear of failure loomed larger than the potential success? That's not bravery. That's fear. And every time you give in to it, you're digging yourself deeper into a grave made of doubts and insecurities. Society doesn't help, does it? They act like failing is some catastrophic event, making you ashamed to even try. But who are they to tell you what's possible? The truth is, you won't find your true strength until you embrace failure as part of the process. You'll learn more from falling flat on your face than from every win combined. Growth doesn't come without the pain of failure. That fear of failing, it's what's keeping you locked in mediocrity. It paralyzes you, traps you in this endless loop of playing it safe. Why do you still listen to it? Because it's easier to stay in your comfort zone, where failure can't touch you. But let me tell you this, it's in failure that you find real power. That's where you need to focus. So, are you gonna keep letting fear call the shots? Are you gonna keep buying into the lies it feeds you? Or are you finally gonna say enough is enough and show yourself there's nothing wrong with failing as long as you're ready to keep going? Have you ever caught yourself whining about your life? Complaining about the job you hate, the circumstances always stacked against you, or the opportunities that never seem to come your way? That victim mentality is a sneaky trap, and it's pulling you under. Every second you spend wallowing in self-pity, you're sinking deeper into the muck of mediocrity. Sure, life's tough. We all deal with challenges. But if you keep seeing yourself as a victim, you'll never get anywhere. Playing the victim gives you a cozy excuse not to act. It convinces you the world is out to get you, that there's no point in trying because everything's doomed from the start. But here's the truth, the world doesn't care about your struggles. Nobody's waiting around to save you. And honestly, the only person who can change your life is you. When you embrace that victim mindset, you're basically saying, I'm powerless. I've got no control over my life. And that's a flat-out lie. Think about the people you admire, those who turned their lives around. Do you really think they had it easy? Not a chance. They faced obstacles, failed time and again, but they never let themselves sink into victimhood. They realized winning meant owning their choices. They didn't point fingers or blame the world. They accepted pain as part of the journey. So, what about you? Are you gonna stay stuck in that comfy little space where nothing's expected of you, where you're not accountable for your failures? Or are you gonna stand up and take control? Stop making excuses for where you're at and start taking action. Change doesn't happen without effort. If you keep playing the victim, you'll drown in frustration. But if you shift that mindset and take charge of your life, you'll start seeing the opportunities around you, not because they weren't there before, but because you finally decided to get up and notice. Let me ask you this, what really holds you back? What keeps you up at night, wondering if everything you've done so far has been a waste of time? It's the fear of failure, isn't it? That paralyzing fear of falling short, losing, or just not being good enough. It's so powerful it convinces you to stay exactly where you are, even when you hate everything about it, because stepping out of your comfort zone feels like too big of a risk. But let me tell you something, failure isn't your enemy. It's your path to success. You're scared of failing, so you don't take chances. But here's the hard truth, failure is inevitable. You're going to fail, probably a lot. And you know what happens when you fail? You grow. Every mistake is just a lesson disguised as pain. Every misstep is a step closer to figuring things out. If you're not willing to fail, you're not willing to grow. Yeah, the fear of failure feels real. It's that gut-wrenching feeling that makes you question if trying is even worth it. But take a look back. Look at everything you've overcome so far. How can you still doubt yourself? Every time you've fallen before, it didn't kill you, right? It made you tougher, more resilient. The fear of failure only exists because you haven't embraced the fact that failure isn't the end. It's just part of the process. The real failure is being too scared to even try. If you're afraid to fail, it's because you haven't grasped the biggest secret of all. Failure doesn't define you. Don't let fear keep you stuck. Face it head on. Face the possibility of falling flat, because that's the only way you'll ever achieve what you truly want. The real failure? Living a life without ever trying. Here's the deal. You've got more enemies inside you than you realize. And the worst one? It's you. That's right. You're your own biggest obstacle. The roadblock to your success isn't out there in the world, in your circumstances, or in other people. It's in your mind. And what's it called? Self-sabotage. You've got this uncanny ability to mess things up for yourself. When something good starts to happen, when you're finally making progress, you find a way to tear it all down. You come up with excuses, distract yourself with pointless things, and convince yourself you're not capable. You know you're doing it, but you keep at it. It's almost like you're programmed to ruin your own chances. And the worst part? You don't even notice. The kicker is, while you're sabotaging yourself, you're feeding yourself lies like, I don't deserve success, or good things aren't for me. What you don't get is that self-sabotage stems from a deep fear of success. Yep, you're afraid of being great. Why? Because success brings responsibility. It brings pressure. And you're scared you can't handle it. But here's the thing. You've got what it takes to win. It doesn't matter what you faced in the past, how many times you failed, or how often you've been rejected. What matters is what you do with all of it. You're not destined to fail. Every thought and action you take right now is shaping your future. So, what's it gonna be? Are you going to keep sabotaging yourself, or are you finally going to give yourself the chance to be great? Understand this. The only thing standing between you and success is your own mind. If you want change, you've got to stop getting in your own way. Your biggest battle is with that voice inside telling you you're not good enough. And only you can win that fight. This is it. The moment of truth. Everything you've been through, all the hardships, the failures, the mistakes, has led you to this point. And now, here's the real question. What are you going to do about it? Are you ready to take the next step? Because if you're not, then everything you've done up until now will have been for nothing. There's no going back. What you do today will define who you are tomorrow. And you've got to be ready to act. So many people live their lives on autopilot, as if the future is something that'll just happen to them. They wake up every day, repeat the same mistakes, and act like time is some kind of luxury. But time isn't a luxury, it's ruthless. Time doesn't wait for you. So, while you sit there wondering if you're ready, life goes on and opportunities slip by. And you know what'll happen? You'll look back with more regrets than accomplishments and realize you wasted precious time waiting for the right moment. Here's the hard truth. The right moment doesn't exist. Do you think life's gonna tap you on the shoulder and say, okay, it's time now? That's never going to happen. The right moment is now. What you need to do isn't wait for the perfect situation, full confidence, or a guarantee of success. What you need to do is act with whatever you have, wherever you are. Trust me, nothing's going to change until you make that bold decision to say, I'm ready. Because if you keep waiting, you'll spend your whole life stuck in the if only I'd done it sooner loop. Change isn't easy, but it's necessary. Don't wait for perfection, because it's never coming. All you need is the willingness to act. And when you decide to change, when you take that next step, everything starts moving in your direction. It's not about finding the right moment. It's about deciding to create it. It's time to face reality. No more excuses. There's no such thing as the right moment, and perfect circumstances won't just fall into your lap. If you don't stand up and take the next step now, nothing will change. Time is going to pass anyway, but it's up to you to decide whether you're going to do something with it. The difference between those who achieve and those who stay behind is simple. Achievers don't wait, doubt, or procrastinate. They act. They do what needs to be done right now. So, what's it going to be? Will you look back and regret, or will you make the choice to change your life today? The moment to act is now. The rest is in your hands.